Okay, so what's happening here is I'm basically printing out what are my thumbnail sheets, and it's kind of been a minute, I guess, but these things are the project thumbnail sheets that I am setting up, printing out, so that I can start storyboarding. Well, it's comic books, so we're more like thumbnailing out the story, and this is always kind of the first phase of what I do, which is essentially take my my own custom printed thumbnail sheets here, which I have. You go to my computer here, which I have laid out in InDesign, entirely in InDesign. So if you can see that there, project thumbnails, and essentially a 13 by 19 sheet of paper. Luckily, I have a Epson SureColor P800, which is a little old by now, but I have this printer that allows me to print, inkjet printer that allows me to print larger sheets. So that's how this is shaping up. I obviously still need to get my plot kind of nailed down. There are some bullet points I've kind of, as a preliminary step to beginning my storytelling process, plotting out bullet points, if you will, from the printed edition here, which we know is the real material, the Dream Awakens hardcover, freshly printed as of this video, that I will be continuing this story from the Dream Awakens. And so what we're going to be doing here is thumbnailing, plotting out the next story arc, which is going to be the Sky Dreamers. All right, so I'm just going to show here again how much I've really come to rely on using thumbnails for the most part. So like, here's an example. Obviously this is my latest effort here, the raw material, the Dream Awakens, and we're gonna be able to see here, just show you, like, I've done the small little, like the blue, the smaller thumbnail templates, which is like about, those boxes that you're seeing are probably about, let's see here, I'm gonna get a sheet here. Yeah, so these are probably about 1.75 inches, maybe about 2.5 inches tall. And I've always used thumbnails, but with the raw material, because it was kind of, I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of scattered as far as how I was approaching the artwork, because initially it started with just doing the raw art on my iPad, and I've talked about that before. But as I progressed and moved back to paper and ink, I kind of experimented with the thumbnails. So this is actually 11 by 17 bond paper. But you can see here's the layout for this page. This is, I think, the second issue, which in the book, so I can find this, is kind of coming up right here. So this was actually drawn digital, this artwork here. But even at this point, I was, had that yearning to go back to traditional, and so that's what you're seeing here. So there's that thumbnail, large thumbnail, and there's the page, and of course this spread page here. You can see that. You have all your ethereal guard appearing, and then of course here, that same page, the final artwork here. So again, thumbnails for me are huge. I've always been a believer in them. Let's see what we got here. Yep, we got more. See, here's essentially the thumbnail here on the right, and then the corresponding final artwork page here on the left. I'm gonna make out that thumbnail here. Finish artwork there. And then this page here. Thumbnail action here on the left. Finish artwork on the right here. So obviously I'm a big proponent, and this was kind of the whole reason is because I was wanting to see the whole book unfold before me. So this was kind of a fun idea. It didn't last for too long. At a certain point, as I was nearing the end of the artwork of the story, I kind of just grabbed at anything that I could use, and I started using this little sketch pad here, just spiral bound here. This here is, I think, the second issue again, or maybe that was, what was that? Let's see if we can find that page. It was actually here. Maybe it was the third issue. Yeah, that's actually definitely the third issue, I think. Yeah, right here. So again, big believer in using these thumbnails. They do take a certain amount of discipline and work. So here's this spread page here. These two pages here, left and right. There's a thumbnail. There's the action right here. This side. I had a bit too much sheen there. Close up of the face there with Ohm. And then of course we have this splash page here on the left. Sorry, on the right. All thumbnailed out. Make it out here.
Okay.
And again, thumbnails are something I started doing a long time ago, to be quite honest. I want to show something here from my other comic book series, the Axis Layer. Black and white artwork, but again, an entire issue pretty much thumbnailed on this 11 by 17 sheet of paper here, so you can see. So here is, where's that first page? Here's our first page. Here's the first page of that, the printed comic book. And you know, I can literally thumb through the whole thing here. Here's that second page here. And then the second page in print right here. An entire comic book thumbnailed, and I remember thumbnailing this probably in one day. As you can see, as I pan through the thumbnails, right to the last page. Here's the book.
Yes.
Right on down to the last page. So there's the last page. And there's the last page. Thumbnail. That was in 2018. So I made it through about two issues of my Axis Layer comic book series, and again, here's the second issue. So it opened the splash page. And here's basically the thumbnail. You look at these first couple of pages here. Yeah. Then we'll just look through here. See the same pages here. So thumbnailing is a very important part of the process, but it is a lot of work. It's a ton of work, I'm not gonna lie. This is from a project that ultimately it fell through, but I pretty much had storyboarded an entire screenplay, needless to say, we'll just leave it at that. It was a screenplay that I basically had to break down into a 47-page comic book. This was back in 2019, but as you can see, and I think I did do these digitally, but the process again is the same. Basically taking the entire manuscript, plot or whatever, and basically drawing out the whole thing. The one thing that psychologically that trips me up when I do this is, like, after I've drawn it, it feels like I've done the entire issue, and it's I wouldn't say it's hard to go back and say, okay, now I gotta draw the thing, because this is an invaluable roadmap, these thumbnails, to how you will, or for me, how I will approach each page as I'm drawing. But the truth is, they are more of a help, more of an assistance than a hindrance, because it is a ton of work. Like, I literally drew out, I think in one weekend, a 47-page comic book right to the end. Like I said, the deal fell through, but I did get paid. I was paid for the thumbnail work, which is always very nice and professional. But again, these thumbnails, they're very critical. They're important. And if you don't do thumbnails, you've never done it before, I recommend that you do, because they've helped me immensely over the years, being able to use thumbnails and plan ahead of time. Good stuff.